I know this might be a hard question. Is there a favorite episode or a favorite, like a memorable time on Say Brother that is like your biggest memory or your favorite?
Blues and Gone
Blues
was
and
my
Gone.
most favorite
Okay.
program.
Yeah.
I went to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I brought 3 dancers that I used to dance with me to New York.
Yes.
The choreographer who was the dance director at the National Center of Afro-American Artists came to New York.
Mm-hmm.
He built a concept on You've Taken My Blues and Gone by Langston Hughes.
You've taken my blues and gone. You sung them on Broadway and you sung them in a Hollywood bowl. And you mixed them up with symphonies. And you fixed them so they don't sound like me. Yet, you done taken my blues and gone.
And the entire dance piece, we created a dance piece, and we created it around that whole concept.
Okay.
And it was dramatic, it was dance, it was out in the street, it was in the studio. We created a
All
nightclub.
in New York?
All in New York.
Wow.
It was a nightclub. It was really fantastic. We did the rest of the auditioning in New York. We had live musicians for the club that we created.
Oh, wow.
So we had, you know, my associate producer, Beth Deere, came from New York. And this show was also made possible because she had friends who were musicians, who were costume designers, who did a lot of work. So they became the support. So, you know, it was using everybody,
Yeah.
you know, and it was really a lot of fun. Dancers that I worked with, directors that I had worked with in Boston.
Did you chime in some of your dance experience in there too? Like,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime I work with dance, I'm always putting that in. Just like you're producing this show, you know, I can't stay out as a producer. I'm always trying to, and I have to remember this is not my show.
Yeah.
So sit down and be quiet.
It's okay. It's in your blood, so I can't blame you. So Blues and Gone actually won so many Emmys in one night. I mean, it was spectacular. People loved it. Why do you think it was so spectacular? Why do you think it was such a...
Well, you know, every once in a while, you just get it right.
Yeah.
You know, you just get what you're doing in life right, and things come together. Everybody was in sync. Our lighting director came with us from WGBH.
Yeah.
The lighting was incredible. The scenic designer came with us from WGBH. These are all already award-winning people.
Yeah.
And then we had a choreographer who was incredible, who's done much work, and Billy Wilson in Boston and New York.
Wow.
And he came back to New York with us back to New York from Boston with us to do the choreography.
Put it all
the costume
together.
designer was the cousin to my associate producer. She was incredible.
Wow.
So all the right people just came together at the same time. So my producing became a very big collaborative.
Yeah, I love that.
But you have to have the vision to see all of that as a producer, to pull it all together and just make it come out right. But I couldn't have done it without that team. And that's what producing is teamwork.
Yeah.
And that was probably the best team effort I've ever worked in my life. And so that's why it's so special to me.
So I want to talk to you about Emmys. I mean, you won 7 Emmys yourself, 27 nominations. How did it feel to win your first Emmy? Can you take us back to that night?
I was completely shocked. My husband and I were we were sat at a table close to the stage. The stage was here, we were to the left of that table. And we were sitting there with just a couple other people. And I don't know what I thought. It was my first Emmys that I ever went to.
Yeah.
I don't know what I expected.
Were you surprised that you even were nominated?
I was sort of numb to the whole thing.
Okay.
Because I had never been to the Emmys before.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there with friends and my husband, and we're just talking and drinking, having drinks.
Yeah.
And so it starts. It just starts. They start talking, and, you know, you hear them open the show, and the music and just the
glamour,
lights and all that,
everything.
And the glamour, and you can see all the people walking around, and it's great.
Yeah.
And so I'm sort of watching it like I was watching theater.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine. It's like
That's
like
what
surreal.
It felt like. It felt like theater. And then they got to our section. It was a special, I don't know, what was it? Target audience something. Special target audience something. And they said, And the nominees are Barrow Murray and so on, so on, so on, so on. A lot of people. It was about 5 people.
Okay.
And the winner is Barrow Murray. And my husband and I looked at each other, and I put the drink down.
Yeah.
He said, "Go, go, you gotta go."
Were you just like, what? Like,
and so
me?
the floor manager was standing there with the camera, looking right at me.
Yeah, like they do on the TV. They're like, "I got you."
He's like, "Come on,
yeah.
get up, get up." So I got up.
Were you nervous? Or were you just like shocked? You were just
I was numb.
Yeah.
I walked to the stage, which was not far. I was right there. And he said, "Get up the stairs." I said, "Okay." So I walked up the stairs, and I think it was somebody from Channel 5 was doing the presenting.
Okay.
And he presented me with the Emmy, and I said thank you. And then I stood at the podium, and
this is speech time. This is when you're supposed to say
I
thank
didn't
you.
have any speech. I thanked the people who. It was a play called The Black Dyad that I had produced in the studio. It was written by my associate producer at that time, whose name was Evelyn Moore, and her husband, whose name was Mel Moore.
Okay.
And he was a PhD in something, I don't remember. But they wrote this great play. We put the play on in the studio. Because I have theatrical experience, we adapted it.
Yeah.
I remembered everybody that worked on the show, and I thanked them.
Yeah.
I did not remember the people who wrote it.
Oh, man. I mean, it's so much pressure. What did they give you, like 30 seconds
I
to
did
say
not
all
remember
of this?
my husband.
And he's staring right at you like, Barbara, are you going to say my name?
I thanked everybody. I waved the Emmy, and I remember coming down the other side of the stairs.
Yeah.
And walked around, and then got back to my chair.
Do they let you keep it with you, or do
Yeah,
they take
you
it
keep
back?
it. No, you keep it.
Okay.
And I sat there. I put it on the table, and my husband said, "Thanks for thanking me." He said, I'm with Rennie all the time while you're here working. Rennie is our son.
Yeah.
And he was a little boy.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He said, "Go back and thank me." I said, "I can't go back."
He said, "Go back." Wait a minute.
I can't go back. But people are very serious about that. That's why these people have all these little notes and stuff.
Yeah, it makes
They're
sense.
really serious about that, because if you forget, even the president of the station sent a note down and said, "Why didn't you thank me?"
Oh, man. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure, especially
What
if
did
you're
he
surprised.
do other than help hire me? I mean, but what did he do?
But he
So I would
wanted
have
his
never thought of him.
acknowledgement.
I'd have never thought, but I remember the next time.
Yeah.
And I had to call up the 2 writers and apologize to them about the fact that I didn't thank them. But they were so excited that we won that they said, "That's okay, it doesn't matter." They're really gracious about it.
That's awesome.
But it's very hard, you win those awards and your mind goes blank.
Yeah.
You know,
Do they time you? Do they play the music and everything when you're up there?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's very fast.
And even in the picture that we have of you, you look so happy. You're holding it up.
Yeah,
was it heavy at the time? Or you're like, wow.
No, everything is surreal.
Yeah.
This picture with the gold dress, I won 2 Emmys that night.
Wow.
And that was for Blues and Gone, and a documentary that I did when I came back to Boston called In the Matter of Levi Hart.
Okay.
It was a teenager who stole a car and was shot to death after a police chase. And there were 3 sets of witnesses, couples, who saw the shooting, and they gave their testimony in court.
Yeah.
And I knew the judge. He gave me the transcripts, and I produced a document. I reenacted all the court work and produced a documentary. It was really a docudrama on that.
Yeah.
So I won an Emmy for that, and I won an Emmy for Blues and Gone the same year.
Same night.
So I can't find the picture where I have 2 Emmys. They started calling me the champ.
You are the champ. 7? I mean,
2 Emmys, but I only have 3 statues. The other Emmys are plaques.
Okay.
They come from when your
part of a
team member wins the actual Emmy, like I won those.
Yeah.
And you are part of that team.
Okay.
So
that's good that they recognize
that's good,
you.
and so you get your name written in, and so I have 4 of those.
Would you say that's one of your biggest accomplishments, winning an Emmy? Would you say that? And part of your career.
My biggest accomplishment was my son.
Yeah.
That's my biggest accomplishment. Yeah, that's my best production. That's my biggest accomplishment.
Yes.
Being a mother. I always wanted to be a mother. I lost my first child. And, you know, when you lose a child, you are empty inside. There's a void there that you cannot fill.
Yes.
And so 10 years later, got pregnant with Lorenzo. And Lorenzo became my biggest accomplishment. He supersedes all those Emmys.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm happy that I have both.
Was he around for any of them?
He was around for all of them. What do you mean? Yeah, he was born from the very first one. I think the first one I won in 1981. He was born in 1977.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he was around.
I remember one year he was watching television with his grandmother and saw me on television winning the Emmys. And so when I came home, he was dancing in the bed.
Yeah.
He knew what it was because he saw some already, huh?
He's your biggest fan, basically.
Well, he was. I think he still is.
I think
That's
so.
a good thing to have.
I mean, even in this article published in the Boston Herald in 1986 by journalist Jeanette Johnson, she says the mother of the 80s has more choices. She can stay at home, raise a family, go to school, or pursue a career, or even choose it all. And you basically chose it all. I mean, you're a mother, you're a working parent, you're a wife. Like, how did you juggle all of that? That must be so hard.
Like everybody else, you just schedule everything. You have to have a partner. You have to have a partner that's willing to help. I had two partners. I had my husband, Lorenzo's dad, and I had my mom. Okay. And without them, I could have never made it.
Yeah.
Did I remember
to like
thank them in the first Emmys? No.
Yeah.
In the second and third Emmys, yes.
You did, okay.
But, yeah, you know, you're working this business. When you work this business on the broadcast level, you start like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And by the time you get there, maybe it's 6 or 7. And you're working all day long, and you just keep going and going. Sometimes you don't get home.
Yeah.
When you're editing, you just don't get home. So I would call my husband. For years I did this. I would call my husband and say, bring me some fresh underwear. Yeah. Bring me a toothbrush. Bring me this, bring me that. Because
you're going to stay overnight
I'm not going to bed. Wow. I'm not going to bed, but I need these personal things so I could be fresh in the day. So I would just work through the night. Maybe I'd take a nap on a console for about an hour. Wake up and keep it moving.
That is a lot to juggle, though, but you do it so effortlessly. Like, it's just part of you.
Because it's teamwork. My husband was cool with it. He was a very good partner. He understood. He loved me. He loved what I did. He loved his family. So without him, I don't know what would have happened, but my son is very successful, and I'm very happy. Yeah. It really took teamwork to get him there, and my mom was a big part of that, too.
Aw, so it's great to have a great, you know, establishment like that when you go home to. You know that they have your back no matter what.
One of the things that I could say is that I think these young girls need to think about what they're doing when they're just having children and not developing who they are as a person. Now, you don't have to do it all. Yeah. You can do some now and some later. Yeah. I know a lot of other women in different economic situations than us choose to freeze their eggs. Yeah. Well, I don't know that all of us can do that, but I do believe that one should study, one should go to school, one should have a strong faith base, whatever faith you are, and I believe that you should have a partner in your life that can help you if you want to have a child. Yeah. Because otherwise that child feels left out and that they're missing things. Yes. And they are. Yeah. They are missing things. I remember my son, even with my husband, his dad, and my mom, I remember overhearing my son saying to a friend on the telephone, he said, the friend said something to him about having a beeper. Long before cell phones. Yeah, I remember beepers. Had a beeper. Beep, beep, and that's what I would do. I would call my son and say, where are you? And he'd say, I'm in Concord, which is where he went to school. Yeah. He was in Metco. Okay. I'm in Concord, and I'm coming back home tonight. Okay. So I knew exactly where he was. He would tell me his Concord Metco mom's house. They have Metco moms.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, they have a Metco mom. So, because if you're in Roxbury, and they're in Concord or Carlisle,
that's a big
something
gap.
can happen, and you need somebody there to help. So they have Metco moms, which I think is wonderful, and they still need to continue to do that.
I think so too. It helps.
So
he would tell you he's there.
I overheard him saying to his friend. His friend said, "You have a beeper?" He said, "Yes, I have a beeper." And then I don't know what else the friend said, but then he said, "Yeah, I brought myself up."
Brought himself up.
That's how he felt because I couldn't be there as a mom. Yeah. I couldn't be there as a mom. His dad was there, his grandma was there, but his mother was at work.
That made you feel like terrible inside?
When he said that,
yeah,
it hurts me to this day.
Aww.
It hurts me to this day. So you got to think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have children, try to plan it so that you can have your career first.
Yeah.
Get that to the point where you have some feeling of achievement, self-achievement.
Yeah.
Then have your children.
So
you can be married through
all
of it.
the time that they deserve, and
then you can give them some time, and then you can step off and go back to work.
You know, even though you said that, I know it hurts. I know to this day he loves you endlessly.
Oh, I have no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about that. We talk all the time,
yeah.
2 or 3 times a week.
Aww.
But
you felt like you missed out on something.
It made me realize at that moment, and I haven't forgotten it, that I should have done this differently.
Okay.
And you do pay for having it all at the same time, which is why people in our previous generations didn't try it.
Yeah.
They knew better. So that's why we thought we were so big and great, and we could do all this at once. You all couldn't do it, but we can do it.
Yeah.
But you have to pay.
Yeah.
You have to pay
it comes
for
with
that.
sacrifice.
Put me off on the dates, but I do believe we've been friends forever. Barbara and I go back maybe to the late 70s, early 80s, and it was when the company was really starting to roll ahead. And Barbara kind of took us under her wing. She knew a lot of the people, Big Smart and Bama DeLeo, Samarie, Natanju. My personal feelings, I love that woman because she definitely stepped out there to help us get started back in the day. And so my love for her is one of sisterhood, sister support, and an energy to see us move ahead. We'll never forget her, but she's been a role model in our lives, and she's made sure that we've gotten out there in the public eye. So our appreciation and friendship goes really deep.
What I would say with my mom is that she's just a very strong-willed individual. Growing up with her, certainly at the time when I was a kid, I took everything I had for granted, in the sense that really didn't start to appreciate that until I got into my teenage years, and then as a young adult, and obviously now, I still look up to her to this day. She's probably one of my closest friends, if not my best friend, and she's just someone who they can always count on for, advice, whether or not I want to hear it or not. She's going to tell it like it is. She's someone who's a very independent thinker. She was a role model not only to the community, but to many others that didn't even work for her. She was a powerhouse.
What makes Barbara, I guess, a great role model or person or woman is that she is herself. She is unapologetic for being herself, and she encourages others to be themselves without judgment. When you have someone strong and confident enough within themselves to allow others to embrace their own confidence within themselves, then you can help but be inspired by them.